The natural world contains many wonders, and the most beautiful and powerful among them are the turtle and the peach. And to showcase their splendor, I, Dr. Tantacles Peach HD, will be completing 2 solo runs of Super Mario RPG with only a single turtle and a single peach. And to make sure plumbers, tadpoles, and hard wood won't get in the way, all other characters must be naked and afraid, even when no peaches or turtles are available to fight. Peach fact number 1. Peaches are only in season for 4 months. And at the start of Super Mario RPG, both peaches and turtles are out of season. So let's speed through to the meat and potatoes of this challenge, or the stone, fruit, and reptile, as it were. I stomp a turtle, pick a peach off the vine, fight a sword, expose this flying frog as a fraud, get wobbled by wood, and snap some bowstrings. Unfortunately, I'm killed by a purple dinosaur, but the plumber, tadpole, and wood rise again to stomp Barney, get blown up, ride a minecart, and finally, we meet up with the icon, the legend, the daddiest turtle you've ever seen. Turtle fact number 1. Turtles can cry. And for that reason, this version of Bowser is honestly the best version of Bowser in any Mario game. He's in touch with his emotions, he invites us to join the Koopa Troop, and most importantly, his starting stats are bananas. He's got a couple extra levels, but currently has 80 HP, about 1.5 times the amount Geno has, and double that of Mallow, which means at least initially he'll be a lot less limited by survivability than his comrades. That may change later, though we'll contend with that later in the video. Because turtle fact number 2. Turtles can't leave their shells, as the bones and cartilage that make up the shell are integral parts of their bodies. But they can wear pants, specifically work pants, which we buy in Moleville. I also give him the Fearless pin because the next boss duo will cause Bowser to withdraw into his shell without it. Of course, before we get there, I accidentally run away from a battle with Geno, but only turtles are allowed, so this wood's cowardice has added to our death count. But did I save? Yes. Yes, I did, and I'm sure I will save appropriately all the way through this run. On our way up Booster's Tower, we grab the Chain Chomp, Bowser's best weapon for a while, and then we fight Knife Guy and Great Guy. Knife Guy specializes in physical attacks, and Great Guy specializes in magical attacks. And in this battle, Bowser is incredibly dominant for a couple of reasons. First, his base stats, as I mentioned before, are absolutely bonkers, causing him to take very little damage from both Great Guy's magic attacks and Knife Guy's physical attacks. But second, both Knife Guy and Great Guy are vulnerable to the Fear status. That increases damage taken and decreases damage dealt, and Bowser's Terrorize causes the Fear status. So Bowser can shell smash these punks in amazing time. And in the Peach run, where all of the characters can act but they aren't allowed any equipment, Bowser does double duty. He takes only a little bit more damage than before, but in my first try for this battle, he and Mario get put to sleep, and the party is quickly executed by the duo's strong panoply of magical attacks. The second time I fight this battle, though, I have a stratagem. I once again inflict fear on this clown posse, and then I bear down on Knife Guy with Mario's super jumps and Bowser's physical attacks, and Mallow acts as the obligate healer. Mario does get taken down, but quickly revived, and after a bevy of brilliant bounces, several skillful slashes, and one final fear-inducing face, Knife Guy goes back to clown school, and he brings Great Guy with him. Though we did suffer a loss, this honorable tadpole fought hard for his kingdom, and his sacrifice will be actually he's fine, and he leads everyone to jump off the building. Then I dash up a hill to touch Booster's Peach. In case you're wondering, Bowser's side gets 6 flowers and Peach's side gets 10. So we head to Marrymore, break through Booster's back door, and get your mind out of the gutter, and we fight the actual factual final boss of Super Mario RPG, Booster's Cakes. And if you want to know more about the strategy for this boss, watch the Mallow video, which I will link in the descriddly-doo-dah. Briefly though, first phase only Bowser, second phase blow out the candles, which requires everyone to act, and third phase back to only Bowser. The first phase, as expected, goes off without a hitch, but phase 2 brings out Alfred Hitchcake, which starts by immediately killing Mario. Fortunately, Geno goes first and can revive him, and then a blizzard comes next, and it brings Mario and Geno to low health, and 3 more candles go out, and he brings out Sandstorm, which takes out both Mario and Geno. And once they're both out, it becomes very difficult to get them to both consistently stay alive. I do do eventually get them revived, but by then the cake is back to 5 candles, which means I'm back where we started but with fewer items. The cake puts Mario to sleep and I revive Geno for the millionth time, and then the cake kills both Mario and Geno in one turn. And I get them back, but by this point Bowser is spent and the cake kills him with a final sandstorm. Okay, second try. The cake gets the first turn and it immediately takes out both Mario and Geno. This is not looking promising. And after I revive both of them, Geno goes down again. And on the third turn, Geno goes down for a third time. And then Mario goes down too. Honestly, in this attempt, I just could not get a good foothold. And then finally, the cake puts Bowser to sleep and saws this turtle in half. So third try. I get a kiss from Peach, which seems auspicious. Except right away, I accidentally use a mid-mushroom with Mario in the first phase, which is honestly just embarrassing. Fourth try, I get another kiss from Peach. The stars are aligning. The cake starts by killing Mario, but he's revived and we're down 2 candles. Mario and Geno now die and I revive both, but Mario dies again. But with Geno going first, I'm able to revive him and take out 2 candles. The cake casts Sandstorm, causing fear, and Lullaby, which misses, which is an amazing get. 3 more candles go out and the cake physically attacks Bowser, which does nothing, and then casts Lullaby, which again misses. And since we started this round with only 2 candles left, we move on to the third phase, which is a pushover and dies to a bunch of Bowser's powerful normal attacks. And then Booster eats his own cake, which frankly is impressive, and if you could do it, you would do it too. The fact that this battle only took 4 tries was actually quite a surprise to me. I've done basically no grinding for Bowser thus far, so he is just broken. And now we have Peach's side, which I expected would be quite difficult. Basically the same as a Bowser only run, but now we have to do it with no equipment. But this side does have one advantage. Everyone can act at all points in the battle. My expectation was that this side would completely f***ing bake me. The first phase went fine, and the second phase starts with Mallow attacking, followed by Blizzard and Sandstorm, which kills no one. So I'm able to take out 3 candles, and then the cake casts a Lullaby, which misses, and it uses a physical attack against Bowser, which does almost nothing. Then it casts Lullaby, which again misses, and it uses a physical attack against Mario, killing him, which means with 1 candle left, we're able to take out phase 2 with 2 physical attacks. How did that go so well? And the third phase is, frankly, a piece of cake. And the peach flavored icing on top is that we now get to celebrate our love of stone fruit for the rest of the run. Peach fact number 2. A single peach tree can produce more than 50 pounds of peaches each year. And Peach, with her starting stats, only has 50 HP, which might cause some issues. Peach escapes the castle and joins the party though. So I guess we're stuck with her. Now, neither Reptiles nor Peaches have any issue with Star Hill, which yields our 4th star. So we head to Seaside Town to grab some fire and ice bombs, which will come in very handy later, and then we head to the sea. Turtle fact number 3. Turtles can sleep underwater for 4 to 7 hours at a time, but in the Bowser run, we only go underwater to enter this boat. And by the way, if you don't want turtles stealing all your shit, don't buy a boat. Our next boss is another sea creature, a squid. Fighting the Tantacles in the first 2 rounds is uniquely easy for Bowser because they're all vulnerable to the fear status, meaning they take increased damage from Bowser's attacks and deal much less. The main squid body, though, is unspookable. Its most powerful attack is its Ink Blast, which unblocked does 32 damage, but that's not a huge portion of Bowser's health, so I'm not too worried about it. Though the battle is admittedly a bit slow because Bowser can't exploit the squid's fire weakness, it goes down soon after its 2 Tantacles do. Before I head to the squid and its Tantacles on the Peachy side of things, I do allow our Peach to get a little bit juicier. She gains 2 levels from the star in the seaside, bringing her HP from a measly 50 to a much more respectable 73, though she does clock a few deaths in the meantime. However, Peach's offense is pitiful. Peach has no access to offensive spells until she learns Psych Bomb at level 18, so her only form of offense besides attack items, which are precious and must be preserved at all costs, is slapping the shit out of her adversaries. And while the Tantacles take at least reasonable damage from Peach's glove, the squid is taking a measly 6 damage, and Peach's bulk is still nothing special, so I die. Maybe she should have ripened just a little bit more on the vine. So I ultimately get Peach to level 13 and I give it another try. But this time I equip her with the work pants to increase her physical attack. Her HP has now increased to a whopping 95 and she's doing a lot more slap damage, so the Tantacles go down pretty quickly and the squid Squid body is now taking a much more reasonable, though still somewhat pitiable 30 to 40 damage from each of her slippity slaps. And because Peach can heal herself, she's able to use her fuzz to incapacitate Mr. Squidly, and we head back to Bowser. Our next boss is Johnny, though before we get to him, we find the safety ring, which blocks all status effects, including instant death attacks, as well as all elemental damage. This item will be equipped on both Peach and Bowser for the rest of the run. Turtle fact number 4. Sea turtles cannot withdraw their heads into their shells, which is how I know that this green guy I met on my detour is just a turtle wannabe. But wannabe or not, this optional fight goes horribly and I die, and I am determined not to try it again. Johnny, however, is a much more nuanced endeavor. As usual, I kill off 3 of his cronies, and I leave the 4th to avoid a Mario vs. Johnny forced fight. But all of the sharks, including Johnny himself, only use physical attacks, which Bowser is hugely resistant to. And Bowser, with his respectable physical damage, doesn't have a huge problem in this fight. And if you're wondering why I didn't use the Hurley gloves, it's because Bowser has to be alone. He can't throw his friends at the enemies. That's ridiculous. Peach fact number 3. Raw peach flesh is 89% water, and because he's a shark, that's probably why Johnny takes very little damage from Peach's attacks. Nonetheless, Peach's battle with Johnny, though harder, follows the same template as Bowser's. Because all attacks in this battle are physical, Peach is able to avoid most of the damage from Johnny and his goons and turn them into fish paste. On returning to Seaside Town, though, some mushrooms steal my star. Peach fact number 4. Peach leaf curl is a serious fungal disease for peaches that mainly exists in regions with a ton of winter rain, like Seaside Town. Wow. And the next boss is the Spear Yarovitch. This boss has a ton of strong magical attacks, including the devastating Water Blast. And on the Bowser side of things, that attack takes away about 2/3 of his HP. And as you might expect, Bowser is very quickly taken down, which means it's time for Bowser's first grind, which we do on the pirate ship. I take Bowser up to level 12, giving him a ton more HP and magic defense, and I invest in a couple of bracers, which will halve the damage he takes from all moves. Now Water Blast does 30 damage to Bowser, which is a lot more manageable. Will-O-Wisp does 34, and Flamestone, of course, does nothing because of the safety ring. On his split, Yarovitch mainly uses physical attacks, which don't affect Bowser much, and Static E, which does no damage. And in a rather anticlimactic turn of events, Yarovitch stalls out of FP, giving Bowser the win. On the Peach side of things, her superior magic defense makes this battle a lot easier. Yarovitch's most threatening ability for Peach is his Skewer attack, which does 68 damage even when blocked. And Peach's soft and fuzzy flesh is very quickly skewered, so I die. But like with Bowser, I sacrifice a few frog coins to grab a bracer and an energizer, which I use during my second try. That means that Yarovitch's physical attacks are far less painful, and his magic attacks are similarly neutered. And with the extra defense, Peach is able to stall out Yarovitch's HP and ultimately take him down. Which means we get our 5th star and we head back to Turtle Paradise, which has conveniently been relocated to Land's End. Turtle fact number 5. Bowser is based off of the Chinese soft-shell turtle, which is primarily carnivorous, and our next challenge is ants, whom Bowser devours with the help of the ice bombs I purchased in Seaside Town. But this turtle also eats cat dogs, and it has its sights on a particularly ferocious one named Belom. Of course, as we know from prior runs, Belom is not really ferocious at all, but his Bowser clone does respectable physical damage, not enough to really threaten Bowser, who inflicts fear on Belom and goes to town on him with physical attacks, and eventually Belom goes the way of the boo. Peach's fight with Belom has a slightly different trajectory. Unfortunately, Peach's clone can heal Belom, which I am not okay with, so I make sure to kill her clones immediately with her new and iconic weapon, the Parasol. We end up with 2 Mallow clones, which, while not ideal, since Mallow clones would have been nicer because they use thunder spells, which Peach is immune to, their jump attacks are quite blockable. And with Peach's now respectable damage output, she permanently puts a sour taste in Belom's mouth, which means I guess she forgot to wipe. Turtle fact number 6. The common snapping turtle travels extensively over land to lay eggs, which explains the big red turtle we have to fight next in Bean Valley. Big red turtle's attacks are powerful, but many of the magical attacks it has are elemental, meaning the safety ring reduces their damage to 0, but not Pedal Dance. And after a Pedal Dance, I get wrecked by another physical attack from this big guy. Yeah, I died. The second time, though, I use a bracer just like I should have initially, and the battle goes much more smoothly. I do get a bit RNG lucky as the Piranha Plant plant uses a ton of fire attacks, but regardless, Bowser shell shocks him. But I don't mess around with no Peaches. Peach's lower physical defense means a bracer is all but necessary for this fight, and to save my sanity, I use an energizer as well. Peach still takes a sizable amount of damage from Red Turtle, but we're starting to see her physical damage improve, and she puts out some pretty good numbers on this guy. And with her robust healing, it's hard for the BRT to do lasting damage to her. And that's a trend we'll see play out quite a bit in future battles. So she makes Crimson Turtle skewers on her parasol, and we climb the beanstalk to Nimbus Land. Turtle fact number 7. They hatch out of eggs. So I'm certain that this egg in the castle will hatch a beautiful turd. Oh god, it's Cathy. And she's got some eggs of her own. This battle has given me some trouble in my other runs, which I will link in the Discriddly-Doo-Dah, and this run is no different. Bowser does good damage and has an HP stat that seems adequate, but alas, during the second phase of this battle, I get overwhelmed and also completely destroyed. Bowser is at a pretty low level still because no boss battle has really challenged him thus far, which means it's time to grind some more. Gotcha. I actually try out the Ghost Medal instead. You get this medal in Monster Town and it has all numerical damage. So now Cathy can only shell out 57 damage with her single eggs, and all of her triple eggs are blockable. And when you defend, her single eggs bounce off of you and become sources of damage if you attack them. And while this strategy is excellent, Bowser's lack of reliable healing leaves him feeling a bit soft-boiled. I get down to my last Kuro Kuro Cola, and with literally one hit left before Bowser flies over the cuckoo's nest, I use one of my precious ice bombs. And Bowser comes in clutch with a freebie. And even better, Cathy closes up the cracks in her shell, never to be heard from again. You know, until I repeat the process with Peach. We use the Ghost Medal again, but Peach has a leg up on Bowser. Her HP is slightly lower, but because of her access to FP healing, she can easily play the waiting game with Cathy. But there's another problem. In Cathy's first phase, she's quite defensive, and Peach's Warfan does literally 1 damage, which means the only way to get reasonable damage on her is to use my consumable items. And fire bombs, as I discover quickly after the battle starts, do 0 damage. But her ice bombs do 210 damage, and I get a freebie. And that 210 damage is enough to bring Cathy into her second phase. And given that I want to save my ice bombs, my only realistic damaging option is to block single eggs and blow them up in Cathy's face. But since each single egg does 60 damage, every time Cathy throws a single egg, I have to heal and I can't defend to deflect the egg. So basically, I have to block an egg, heal until Cathy uses the triple egg attack, blow up the egg, heal until Cathy uses the triple egg attack, and then rinse and repeat. And while this battle is extremely long and requires exact timing, Peach is eventually able to cut to the yoke of the situation, but I accidentally attack Cathy instead of the egg, meaning that oh wait, she only had 1 HP left. Ha! Take that, egghead. Peach fact number 5. Peaches are smaller than melons. And the melons I'm talking about are, of course, the melons of Valentina. And as a reminder, I have to do this battle 4 times, twice with each character. The middle character gets taken away for a solo battle with Dodo, and the third character stays with Mario to fight Valentina in a 2-on-1 before reuniting. Gotta do it both ways. So we start with a turtle in the middle. We brace up Bowser to begin the fight, and Dodo is a joke given his paltry damage output. So on to Mario and Peach. Valentina has pretty robust damage output, particularly with the ever-dangerous Water Blast, and an Aurora Flash, which is even worse, takes out Mario in 1 hit. But with Peach's ample healing and a generous helping of super jumps, Bowser returns to take over. And the damage output from Valentina and Dodo is paltry. The safety ring negates all of the elemental damage, and oddly, Valentina elects to use physical attacks for much of this battle. And because I've now played this game 5 times in the last 3 months, I've gotten pretty good at blocking. So Dodo goes down pretty quickly, and Valentina is soon stalled out of FP and defeated. And with Shelly in the 3rd slot, I use Gino to initially fight Dodo. And while I royally suck at getting the action commands this time, despite bragging about being good at it 15 seconds ago, Dodo is weak enough that it doesn't really matter. 2 ice bombs and a fire bomb move me back to Bowser. And oddly, this melon salesman seems to prefer physical attacks, which is amusing because even without action commands, Bowser only takes 14 damage from each of Valentina's attacks. And that means that Dodo eventually returns, and for whatever reason, I get even more preference for physical attacks from Valentina, initially, until she switches to casting her most powerful magical attack, Diamond Saw. But this attack only takes away about 1/3 of Bowser's max HP, making this fight minimally challenging as well. But for the flex, I go after Valentina first, and I learned something new about this game today. If you beat Valentina first, Dodo gives up and flies away with her. But of course, they come back to feast on our little plum, Peach. We start with Peach fighting Dodo, and I completely completely forget to use my bracer and Peach gets her pit pecked out. On my second try, I change my strategy and I equip Peach with a work pants. Initially, Dodo hits hard, but I hit the action command on the second try and Peach gets her bracer and energizer up. And when boosted, Peach is able to peck back at Dodo, which brings us into the Peach versus Valentina and Dodo fight. And I put my knowledge from the Bowser fight into practice here, targeting Valentina instead of Dodo. And this time, Valentina shows a strong preference for elemental attacks. Of course, these do 0 damage to Peach because of the safety ring, and within a few short minutes, Valentina is defeated. And finally, we're on to fight number 4. I use Mallow on the Dodo side, who with 2 fire bombs takes out Dodo within seconds. Peach braces and energizes, and once again, Valentina shows a strong proclivity for inefficacious elemental attacks and misses an Aurora Flash entirely. And on Dodo's return, we again rumble with Valentina. Peach's stellar magic defense isn't enough to completely invalidate Valentina's spells, but it does a pretty great job. And once again, Peach's healing makes this battle feel even easier than the Bowser version did. And with one final fan smack, Valentina flies away, this time truly never to be heard from again. Until the remake, of course. Peach fact number 6. It's best to store peaches at a temperature close to freezing and with high humidity. But unfortunately, our next destination is the Volcano, which is probably not an ideal playground for our first fruity victim, who falls victim to a giant fire tree. But on our second traipse through the volcano, we chop down this flaming oak and purchase a fiery dress, which is probably also not great for Peach, but even worse is this dragon, because this dragon specializes in balls. He's just like me, and when he empties out his 8 balls into our Peach, she can't take the pain and she dies. So now it's actually time to grind. By the way, I learned something new again about the game here. These dry bones are taken out immediately by any magic attack, and that includes Peach's sleepy time. And we grind Peach up to level 17, a level in which she gains a ton of stats, including 16 HP, which brings her up to a gargantuan 152. So it's time for Peach to eat some balls again. The balls in total now do 84 damage per turn. And while things start off auspiciously, the dragon ultimately gets 2 physical attacks in a row and then hits me with his ball juice again and I die. That's the problem with emptying balls into a Peach. Sometimes the Peach just deteriorates. And on my next try, I make the decision to use 2 of my ice bombs to get through the first phase. And normally I would just save them until the end of the game and never use them just in case, kind of like Mega Elixirs in Final Fantasy, but this is the time to use them. I also get a freebie on the second one I use, meaning my luck is just redonkulous, and I immediately use that freebie to finish off those balls, and then I get another freebie. The Bone Dragon, which comes out next, is interestingly enough weak against the mute status, so that's how I approach this battle, and it does waste a couple of turns trying to do magic, but interestingly, even when muted, this enemy can still use the Scream spell. I guess he's just screaming silently, but eventually Peach smashes this huge, juicy bone, showing him once and for all that sometimes a peach ain't worth the squeeze. Which means now it's time to show these bulls what happens when there is a turtle head poking out. Bruh. So we head into the dragon fight with Bowser at level 14, and I make the decision to use the work pants. And unfortunately, Bowser's level is so low and his defense is so poor that he can't heal off the damage from these hot, juicy balls, and I die. So now it's time for another Bowser grind. We try again at level 15, but this time I put on Bowser's fire shell, and I realize something amazing has happened. In addition to increasing Bowser's offense and defense, the work pants in the last battle also increased his speed, so Bowser attacked before both the balls and the dragon. But with the fire shell, Bowser acts after the dragon and before all of the balls. This means that with his ice bombs, Bowser can kill all of the balls before they can attack. The dragon does get a bit saucy and casts Water Blast a few times, but soon after he starts using weaker physical attacks. Bowser gets off 2 ice bombs, and the second one hits a lucky freebie. He uses one more flame wall, I use my final ice bomb, but then I realize something. Yes, I'll win this battle, but I'll also lose my ice bombs. And more importantly, the balls only have 1 HP each, meaning any multi-target attack, including Bowser's magic, can immediately take them out. So I restart the battle, and instead of using my ice bombs, I use Bowser's spells to kill the balls. And while the battle goes slower, this strategy is pretty safe overall. Unfortunately, Bowser's magic attacks are prone to missing, and I have a few close calls. In one of those close calls, I miss 3 out of 4 of the balls, and I have to watch them melt away Bowser's HP. Eventually, though, the dragon runs out of FP and has little recourse, meaning Bowser busts his balls completely and moves on to the big bone. And the Bone Dragon, with his poor physical defense, should provide a little challenge to Bowser. However, some of his magic attacks are pretty nasty, and he gets some double turns. So with his massive offensive pressure, this bone blasts Bowser and runs me out of healing items, and I die. So I give it another try, and I buy some more healing items, and I change my strategy just a smidge. Instead of using Terrorize, I use Poison Gas to kill the Dragon Balls, and this spell does in fact poison the dragon as well, and does a ton of damage each turn, until oddly it starts doing just 1 damage per turn. As it turns out, poison on its own can't kill this boss. I'm not sure if that applies to all characters in this game or just bosses or just enemies, but let me know in the comments if you know. But that means that Bowser's next attack takes him down and brings us to the Bone Dragon. And since I have more healing available, Big Bone gets stalled out of FP and retracts back into its volcano cavity. So we grab a star, but it's quickly whisked away from us by these beefy axe boys. Turtle fact number 8. Female turtles can store sperm from multiple males. And for Bowser, it's time for a 5-on-1 rumble. I've talked about this battle extensively in my other SMRPG challenge videos, and as I've mentioned, they're linked in the discredly-doo-hoo. But just to recap, pink heals, black attacks, yellow swipes you, red is fast. And little green should be saved until last because his weak magic attacks are a great opportunity to heal up to fight the ship. So Bowser starts with a bracer and energizer, and I play extremely aggressively. I immediately use an ice bomb, one of 2 I saved up, and then I heal after a particularly aggressive round of Axem attacks. And then I use the second one, from which I get a freebie, and red and green immediately die. Red being gone is a huge weight off my chest because he normally powers up after 2 rangers are dead, and he has extremely difficult attacks to block, so I honestly feel like this battle is over already. I use a firebomb, which next takes out black, meaning now only yellow and pink are left. Pink goes down to 1 more physical attack, and yellow is the last axe standing. But he only uses blockable physical attacks, so we heal up and take him out with a couple of crusher spells. And the ship opens up with a breaker beam that misses. We attack a few times, and the breaker beam does 69 damage. Nice. And then it misses again. Honestly, this is going terribly for the breaker beam. And very quickly, the breaker beam's FP are expended, leaving him a sitting duck boat, which in my situation is the best kind of boat since I can easily sink it. So Bowser gets his 6th star, and now it's time for a Peach and Axem orgy. Peach uses a bracer and energizer and then gets hugely lucky, with most of the Axem Rangers using blockable physical attacks. And once again, Peach's ability to heal herself makes her hugely powerful. We use Peach's last ice bomb and then a firebomb, and green is the first ranger to die. Another firebomb results in a freebie and then takes out pink, meaning red powers up. And again, I get lucky with RNG, and almost all attacks used are blockable. Then I use my firebomb freebie, which takes down yellow, so only black and red, the 2 hardest rangers, remain. But after 2 more fan slaps, black goes down too, and red is soon after. The breaker beam only does 60 damage, so this battle is unlosable unless I make a huge mistake. And Peach capsizes this sailboat with a light breeze from her fan, proving once and for all that boats are not your friend and don't reserve the respect of your Peach. And before I head to Bowser's castle, I have one more task to complete. On the Bowser side, I collect a crap ton of Yoshi cookies and I trade them to the baby Yoshi for Yoshi aids. Small amount of save scumming required, but it is worth it. So we finally board the magic school bus and head to Bowser's castle. I make sure to acquire Bowser's drill claw before we move on to our next boss, Magikoopa. Whenever Magikoopa summons a bomb, he freezes and doesn't ask for the rest of the battle, so frankly, I pray for a bomb, and on his first summon, I get it, which means I can barrel through the Magikoopa battle with 0 resistance. And I decided, why not just enter Smithy's castle and keep going? So I head on to Boomer, who isn't even worth talking about because he was so easy, and then I head on to Exor, and Exor is a huge obstacle for Bowser. At this point in the game, Bowser's awful stat growths, particularly his magic defense, have caught up with him, and Exor takes away over half of his damage with Dark Star, and then the follow-up Gunk Ball takes him out. And remember how I said Boomer was no issue? Well, on my second try, Boomer hits Bowser with a Storm attack, and that attack does 142 of Bowser's 153 HP. I think you know where this is going. To bed. This was the 3rd stream day of this duel challenge, and I was wiped. So I grind a bit off stream, I take Bowser up to level 18, and I give it another shot the following week. This time, Boomer doesn't get the better of me, and we head on to this sword-headed bozo. Bowser's bright and shiny new move is Bowser Crush, a strong all-enemy attack. So we brace and energize as usual, and then we hit Exor with 3 Bowser Crushes, which kill both eyes, and then I burn a Rock Candy and Ice Bomb and use another Bowser Crush, getting rid of about 600 of the head's HP. I rinse and repeat the disabling strategy, but the left eye goes down first, so I use 2 more Bowser Crushes, dealing 200 more damage, and disable the right eye. When they both come back, I disable the right eye first, which I should have done initially to prevent Dark Star from being cast, and then I use a Firebomb to deal 180 more damage to the head and kill the left eye and the mouth. I get off 2 physical attacks for about 250 damage, and now I've done about 1300 damage out of the head's 1800, so we're almost there. Except now the right eye casts Dark Star, and the left eye and mouth attack, and I miss the action commands, leaving Bowser at just 2 HP. But after healing and killing the right eye, I do 300 more damage to the head, so about 200 left. So I go after the right eye one more time and take it out with a few normal attacks, and no terribly powerful attacks get used. I do one more physical attack to the head, and apparently I counted wrong because Exor is finally defeated and we head inside. But not before we have to run through the same boss gauntlet with Peach. Peach will be using her handy-dandy frying pan to smack the shit out of everything in this game, and she starts with Magikoopa. Unfortunately, Peach's luck isn't quite as good as Bowser's, but after 2 dragon summons and a Jinx summon, Magikoopa once again freezes himself in place with a bomb, and Peach crushes his face with her cookware. Boomer is a lot less threatening to Peach than he was to Bowser, particularly since Peach is at level 18 and has her Psych Bomb ability, which is one of the strongest attacks in the game. The main threat to Peach's life is physical attacks given her lackluster defense stat, but these are far less severe than Boomer's magical attacks, which Peach shrugs off due to her magical focus. So without too much trouble, Boomer falls and we move on to the actual challenge, Exor. And with her Psych Bomb spell, she's far more adept than Bowser at poking out Exor's eyes. And furthermore, because she has FP healing, I get a lot more bang for my buck by bringing FP restoratives to this battle, allowing Peach to go harder, last longer, and most importantly, frying pan the head for even more damage than Bowser did with his physical attacks. I didn't realize until this battle exactly how broken Peach is. And then she becomes more broken when Exor chomps her pink flesh with a carny kiss, which is disappointing. So we fight Boomer again, no problem, and head back into the Exor fight. New plan this time. I hit 2 Psych Bombs, but then I use the frying pan on the right eye to end it. Then another Psych Bomb not only takes out the left eye, but also does 130 damage to the head. Another Psych Bomb does the same to the head and also takes out the mouth, and a frying pan to the head does 230. 500 down, 1300 to go. One more Psych Bomb and a flying pan strike take out the right eye again, and then another Psych Bomb takes out the left eye and does another 130 to the head. And another 2 frying pan strikes do another 250 to the head. 920 to go. Repeat the cycle and I get taken out by another Dark Star. I'm very unhappy. I feel like my Peach is rotting now, but I pick my pulp up and try again. Bracer, Energizer, Psych Bomb times 3, around 530 to the head with a frying pan. Psych Bomb times 3 with both eyes dead again, another 500 to the head with a frying pan. Psych Bomb times 3, both eyes dead, frying pan for 450, 400 to go. Psych Bomb times 3, both eyes dead, frying pan for 420, and Exor is finally dead. We're inside the lair, we're near the end, and Peach is a boss. Turtle fact number 8. As the turtle's clock inflates, it can more than double in size, which means either that Bowser is the Mushroom Kingdom's version of Flava Flav, or we have to fight this guy. The bells are somewhat dangerous. They can cast Dark Star just like Exor's right eye, and they do it twice this time. But the bells have much less magic attack, meaning it only does 55 damage, and the second one in a row misses. But unfortunately, on the next turn, one of the bells casts it again, and the clock casts Water Blast, making Bowser into turtle soup. So on the retry, I pray for better RNG, and I initially do not get it, as one of the bells uses Dark Star right away. But with some conservative healing, I then start to see a lot of wasted turns from the bells. My strategy is just to repeatedly use Bowser Crush to do maximal damage to both bells. So after 4 Bowser Crushes, a poison gas, a physical attack. Oh, I died. Help. Okay, attempt number 3. 3 Bowser Crushes, and on a hunch, I use a mid-mushroom to heal off a pretty paltry amount of damage, and the bells immediately use Dark Star twice in a row. Put it in the record books! I was right! Twice! He used it twice! But the second one missed, so I heal and a bell uses Dark Star again. So we use Poison Gas, Restore with a Kuro Cola, see a couple more Dark Stars, one of which misses, and a Bowser Crush finally takes out the right bell. I get one more Dark Star that misses right before I take out the left bell with a physical attack, and with a few more claw attacks, the clock faces its demise. Peach fact number 7. Peak Peach season is May through September, but this ancient clock can't tell you what date it is, only what time it is. So let's clean this clock. Peach's magic defense should make this battle significantly easier. The battle starts with 3 Dark Stars before I even get my bracer up, but Mallow takes 2 of them, one of which misses, and it's bye-bye Tadpole. 2 more Dark Stars go to Mario, and one of these also misses. And my RNG looks pretty great for a while until we get another Dark Star, and that one also misses. So 6 Dark Stars, 3 misses. Feels good, man. And my RNG gets pretty good from there. Peach takes out the left bell with a frying pan strike, and while I soon star my death right in the face, I have enough HP to weather this meteor shower, and weather it again, and a third time. And then the bell's FP runs out and I can breathe a sigh of relief. And the second bell goes down with just a couple more frying pan strikes, leaving the clock perplexed. and it soon times out. Next up is a mandatory Yarovitch refight, which for both characters doesn't test their mettle much, and then Cloaker and Domino. For Bowser, I killed Domino first given Bowser's horrid magic defense, but the snake's physical attacks are far more deadly than anything the magic version can dish out, and turtle fact number 9. Snakes do not generally eat turtles because they have trouble digesting their hard shell, but Bowser in this moment has the strength and resilience of a little turtle infant, and a Carnicus means he's Serpentine Supper. On my second try, killing Cloaker first results in a much easier second phase of this battle. Many of Domino's magic attacks do no damage to Bowser because of the safety ring, so while this battle isn't an easy win by any stretch of the imagination, Bowser eventually breaks through and rumbles his reptile nemesis with some nasty claw attacks. On the Peach side of things, killing Cloaker first is clearly the play given her poor physical bulk. And then the second part of this battle once again illustrates how important Peach's healing and superior magic attack is in this battle. She sautés this serpent in her cast iron skillet, and she and Bowser bounce right into the next set of bosses, the clerk, manager, and director. And since none of these were a huge problem for Peaches nor Turtles, we'll just fly right by. Peach is the woe manager. But okay, I kind of lied to you because Bowser did have a little issue. The clerk and manager were fine, but this director was kind of hairy. Mainly because accidentally, I kill all the hammer dudes while I'm fighting the director. That means that he increases his attack power markedly, meaning Bowser's now awful defenses are no match for the director's bombs, and I die. And as usual, I did not save right before this fight, so I have to fight the clerk and manager again. And this time, when I fight the director, I don't make any stupid mistakes this time. Okay, maybe I made 1 or 2 mistakes, but RNGesus saves me in the end. And the final obstacle before we head on to Smithy is the gun yoke. Bowser's strategy is to put them to sleep, brace up, and then make them afraid. Unfortunately though, the fear stat overrides the sleep status, making this battle a lot more dangerous, and I get shell stomped very quickly. No bueno. The second time though, I use a Yoshi-aid to boost my offense and defense at the same time and give me some extra turns. I also use poison gas to do passive damage to the gun yoke's ninja companion, and unfortunately I get overpowered almost immediately and Bowser dies again. Okay, third try. Yoshi-aid to start, then Sleepy Bomb. I use my final rock candy, heal up, and then, like a Karen turtle, pursue the manager. After both wake up, I regroup and heal, but I ultimately have difficulty keeping Bowser alive, and the factory chief and gun yoke's attacks leave him with 1 HP. But he heals and gets a freebie, and then finally is able to claw this boss's face off. And soon after that, the gun yoke runs out of FP, and that allows Bowser to take him out without too much of a fight. Peach fact number 8. Peaches are a sign of immortality in ancient Chinese mythology, and this fight is the epitome of that, because Peach has access to the Sleepy Time spell, which allows her to continuously disable the gun yoke and the factory chief. As long as she switches between Psych Bomb and Sleepy Time, these two guys literally can't hurt her because they can't do anything. And within minutes, the factory chief goes down, and the gun yoke has very little it can do to our little fuzzball, which means that there's only one battle left, Smithy. But before we fight Smithy, let's talk about the performance of the other characters I used to complete this run solo and their stats. Geno so far is the champion, and he managed to beat Smithy at level 19, which I think is a pretty impressive feat for a block of wood. Mario beat Smithy at level 23 and Mallow at level 24. But how will Bowser and Peach do? Well, let's start with Bowser. He's at level 19 with 179 HP, and Smithy is ready to receive him. The first phase of Smithy starts, and it looks terrible. The magic attacks from Smithy's minions are doing a ton of damage, and given Bowser's lack of FP healing, he very quickly runs through all of his items. He's left with only 1 Max Mushroom and 1 Kuro Kuro Cola for the fight with Smithy's final form. The Max Mushroom goes pretty quick, and I get a freebie from my Kuro Kuro Cola, but Smithy then reveals his true power and casts Dark Star, which does a devastating 107 damage. Then the invincible form comes along. Bowser uses his Kuro Kuro Cola and gets another freebie, and then uses his Ice Bomb and gets another freebie. Insane luck! So we get shredded and we use a Yoshi-aid, and we use our second Ice Bomb, and the tank form comes out. We use our next rock candy, get another freebie, but then the tank form obliterates us. I'm pretty sure we were about halfway done with the fight, though I do end that day's stream because I'm dead. And we regroup for a little group chat in my Discord. That's the place where all the Tantacles go to connect, share their own challenge runs, and of course, roast me when I do something stupid. There's a link in the description. and I hope to see you there. So I grind Bowser up to level 23 with my Discord chat, and you can probably see that his HP growth has grinded to a halt at this point. He's at 203 HP, and we head into Smithy's second form, and things go pretty gosh darn well. The tank form doesn't attack Bowser, the magic form doesn't use Dark Star, and the invincible form does the invincible things, for example, shredding away my buffs. Eventually, though, I run out of healing items again, and Smithy smashes in Bowser's shell. I do try one more time at this level. Things seem to be going well as I get some great RNG in the middle of the fight, but eventually the magic form comes in with a Dark Star, an Arrow Rain, and a hammer, dealing 160 damage in a turn and taking them out. Poor Shelly. And I have a slight change of strategy here. First, I sell a few Yoshi-aids. Bowser has the damage output to go quick, but his problem isn't staying buffed. It's running out of healing. I also grind him up to level 24. Just a smidge more HP and magic defense will help him tremendously. He also nabs another Ice Bomb from a Bowyer refight, which could come in really handy. And this strategy also gives me more money to buy max mushrooms, since Bowser's run is the only run in which I've actually run out of coins. So I do that, and we go in again, and I forgot to equip the safety ring, so that's bad, and I try again. The next time we head into battle with the tank form as usual, then magic form, which is taking nice damage from Bowser's attacks, and then the invincible form, which gets whacked by my Ice Bomb and shreds me, and then I reboost. But then I run into a problem, and the problem is me. I'm the problem, it's me. The tank form comes out again, and I don't heal enough, so I get taken out by 2 bullets, of course. This is my moment. First phase done. Second phase, I get shredded on schedule, but I'm at low health, and the Shredmobile immediately transforms back into tank form, which is terrible RNG because it means I either have to heal or boost back up, and I can't do both. I heal, and then I die. This time is going to be the one. Really, I mean it this time. First phase, gone. The tank magic invincible combo goes as planned, and I even get a freebie Ice Bomb. I use Bowser Crush on the tank and scratch up the magician form, and I use my second Ice Bomb on the invincible form. No freebie this time. I also use my 2 rock candies here and reboost a couple of times. Then the chest comes out, I use Firebomb, get a freebie, and then I hit the tank form again. And not to belabor this battle excessively, but I just continually get lucky with repeated weak phases, and eventually I whittle Smithy down and deal one more final scratch of damage to the magic form. And Smithy is no more. Bowser got through this run at level 24, and he's now tied with Mallow for the highest level required to beat this boss. But we still have one more contender. Peach fact number 9. The fuzz of the peach helps protect it from pests, but nectarines, which are actually just a variety of peach, have smooth skin, just like our little princess. She's at level 19, and she has a gargantuan 186 HP. And Smithy's first phase is a nothing burger given Peach's generous healing and huge attacks with the frying pan. But phase 2 is where we see the true power of the princess. Her Psych Bomb ability is quite bruising on the tank, and her frying pan works wonders on the magical menace. She can easily brace up for the invincible form after a spot of healing, but the tank's damage output is a bit robust for her on her first try, and she dies. The second try starts out about the same, and once we get to the true form, we're getting pretty miserable RNG, with no magnums to preserve us. Once we get to the magic form, I heal up, but it has a ton of damage output, so I stall until invincible form, and I use Peach's rock candies to bruise this blue banana. The magic form comes out next and takes her down to 19 HP, but she fully heals before the invincible form comes out to ruin her buffs again. And unfortunately, once the magician comes out again, the Boulder, Dark Star, and Gun Attack pierce our Peach and plant her in the ground. So I decide to grind Peach up to level 20, and holy guacamole, what a level! She gains 15 HP even without an extra level boost, as well as a Peach load of attack. At level 20, she's almost on par with Bowser's HP at level 24. So we give it one more try. The first phase is no issue. The real Smithy now seems to have some RNG issues on top of damage output issues. Tank form is doing a lot less, magic form is taking over 400 damage per frying pan hit, sometimes 500, and Smithy isn't getting many double hits at all. I do play pretty conservatively, healing whenever I can. However, after the first shredder, Peach is doing all of her damage without any boosts, and it's quite respectable. And Smithy's magic attacks, arguably the most threatening part of his arsenal, bounce off of her like summer rain. I also get a couple of lucky treasure chest forms, which, like all the others, take a good amount of damage from Peach's frying pan, but unfortunately I ran out of bracers and a spear rain from the magical form takes me out. But I'm still hopeful that she can do it, and I have one more try left in me. I grab Peach a few more bracers given that she ran out last time, and I grab another energizer to give her a bit more bang for her fuzz. So first phase, no problem. Tank, magician, and invincible form go as planned with an ice bomb on the first invincible form and then the brace up and heal. I use psych bomb on the tank form, physical attacks on the magician form, rock rock candies on the invincible form, and finally, my fire bombs on the chest form. I get a few freebies along the way, as well as a few extra chest form procs. He goes into the tank form and does not double up on attacks, and he finally transitions into the chest form. I use Psych Bomb first, and then I use a Frying Pan attack, and finally Smithy goes down, and Peach has defeated him at level 20. And if you want to know how my other solo runs of this game went, click this playlist right here to watch. It's a jumping good time. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the remake.